John Daniel here from John's Wacky World, standing on Water Street here in downtown Massena. Tonight the Massena Village Board held a special meeting on the fate of this property right here on Water Street. The Slavin's family property, which used to be Slavin's Furniture here in Massena. It's been empty for about 10 years now, and major back taxes are owed on the property. And a lot of people had questions at the meeting tonight, and the village board members answered it as best as they could. But there's a lot of things I don't understand and other people don't understand. One is, this property should have went up for taxes 3 years after they were owed, but they weren't. And tonight, Walt Basmajian was at the meeting. He is a former New York State Democratic chairman and Industrial Development Corporation chairman of St. Lawrence County and a real estate dealer. And he said this property is nothing but a white elephant for local taxpayers. And he said it should be ripped down in certain ways, like used as a fire drill and so forth. But there's many problems with this property with asbestos and oil tanks. And right now, they're worried this middle section is going to collapse. The roof is collapsing, and they have blocked off Water Street, at least the entranceway here from Main Street, in fears people are going to get injured. But the county, St. Lawrence County, is going to give this property to Massena, New York, for free. But tons and tons and tons of taxpayer money is going to be paid by the village to demolish this property, when it should have went for taxes, back taxes, and bought by someone who has money as a developer to either rip it down or restore it. But it never happened. And the points made tonight by Walt Basmajian, in my opinion, were right. How much? Amount has not been given right now on how much this property will cost to be demolished. I could go on and on about this dilemma that's occurring here in our town, in downtown Massena. So let's watch some of the meeting tonight about the Slavin's property here in downtown Massena. Let's hear now from Walter Basmajian.
That is correct.
Can they own it?
They could, yes.
They could own the property, but they don't own it.
They do not own it.
Slavins are responsible for that property. Is that correct?
I think there are a number of entities, corporations, individuals. I don't have that list of title holders there, but it's somewhere within the Slavin family. Yes.
In other words, what you're telling me is they're responsible if something happens to that property even today. Is that correct?
Yes.
In other words, the county has no responsibility at all. None whatsoever.
Yes, that's right.
So we're taking it over, we're taking the response. If we take it over, it's our responsibility for any liabilities after that, correct?
As the owner, that's correct.
The county cannot come back on Massena for any taxes, right?
That's correct.
No back taxes at all.
That's
You pay
correct.
all the taxes.
That's correct.
So we take it over. The only thing is, Mr. Mayor, I think there's something wrong here in the sense, I'm not objecting to what we're doing. You should have some figures what it's going to cost me and the rest of the people of this community. You don't have that. You're asking us to spend millions of dollars, but you don't know what it's going to cost us. You should tell us what it's going to cost us.
Okay.
I want to know what it's going to cost me as a taxpayer. It's not that much, but you should tell me. If I'm going to buy that property, I want to know. You're not telling the people in this community what it's going to cost us. $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, you don't know. We're buying something we don't even know what it's going to cost. You're going to tear that building down for $500,000? Good luck. Good luck if you can tear it down. You gotta do backfill there, the river's there. You got more responsibility than what you're saying right here now. If you tear that down, what are you gonna do with that river? You gotta put a wall up there. You can't do anything. You gotta fill that place. You know what it's gonna cost for fill? It's gonna cost you a fortune to fill that joint. The water will wash it right away. Right now they got a wall there, it's holding it up. I'm not objecting to it, but the thing is, you're asking me to pay for something, you don't know what we're gonna do with it. We have no, the county's getting rid of it. They're getting rid of it. Now I can't blame the county. They paid the back taxes, they took a big loss. That's the responsibility they got. They had to pay the back taxes. But the point is, now you're asking me to pay the shot. How much is the shot? $1 million? What are you going to do with the property after we take it over? You need some fill there, don't you? You can't just leave it. You ought to put a match to it, burn it down, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to burn that property down to a wooden property instead of tearing it down. It's going to cost $500,000. You know, I read last week where the board was giving some raises. You objected to it. You said, my taxes are gone. You said, I don't have any money. I read that in the paper where the board wanted to give some raises. You said, it's foolish. We're just making a budget now. Now we're taking over $500,000. You don't even know what it's going to tear that building down. You'd be lucky if you could tear it down.
I didn't say we took it over. That's the board of trustees that has to make that decision, not me.
Well, I'd like to hear from some of the board. What's their opinion on this?
We will. Right now, it's public input.
I'm not objecting to taking it over, but we ought to know what we're taking over and what it's going to cost us. Let me know it's what it's going to cost me.
In order to do that, we have to have ownership, because you can't just go in and start helping yourself to a building you don't even own. The problem with this whole ordeal is that you have a family that owns that parcel. They chose not to pay the taxes.
Right.
So now you as a taxpayer, as me as a taxpayer, and everybody in this room has to pay for that family's mistake. That's the bottom line. Period. I have to pay for the Slavin family's mistakes, Mr. Basmajian. You do, I do, and everybody else. If they want to step up to the plate and pay the taxes, they have that opportunity when the foreclosure process goes through. Because before they go through and turn it over to the Village of Massena, the owner of that parcel has an opportunity to take ownership back. All they got to do is pay $300,000 back taxes, sir.
I'm not objecting to Slavin's what they're
That's the bottom line.
That's their business.
There's nothing else to be said.
But we're buying.
The county's being very kind to us.
Well, I realize
you know,
they're not
they've already forgiven $66,000.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. I think cooler heads should prevail.
I'm trying so he can.
I know that.
Mr. McCully, I'm speaking. Thank you, sir.
But I think you should.
Mr. McCully, thank you, sir. The county, sir, has been very kind to do what they've done for us. The Article 11 could be very damaging, because what that does, Mr. Basmajian, is it takes out and wipes out the whole tax base for those parcels. We won't receive anything. They'll continue to sit there. You won't receive anything. You will never, ever be made whole on those parcels ever again, because they'll zero them out for us.
If we don't take it over, what does the county intend to do with it, Mr. Mayor? What do they intend to do with it?
The county doesn't intend to do anything.
Nothing.
They want to go let it sit there. Can't we hold them responsible?
Walter.
The county.
The county's not the owner of the property.
Walter, somebody else is trying to speak, so if you would please give other people a turn. Thank you.
Question, given the scenario that the village does take over the property and they are able to demolish it, is it going to be a viable tax generating revenue property? Is it?
That's only in the foreseeable future. We don't know that yet.
Any research has been done as far as environmental issues?
Well, we've heard Mr. Booth say about a possibility. You know, there's always possibilities. You can file under the Restored Grant Phase 3, I believe it is, where it would help to clean up that site. But then,
I was thinking long about the fact that it is on the river.
But that's what I was saying earlier. If you have ownership, and then you can apply for certain grants. You can talk to these possibilities, these rumors that are going around with possible people that want to take ownership of the property. But until you own it, you can't do any of this stuff.
If the property does have environmental issues and you do apply for grants to demolish it, it's still not going to be able to be a tax generating process.